step into more of a leadership role and in the Institute in the final episodes in 2A. So are we going to see him continue to take charge among the New York Shadowhunters?
Yes, we're going to see that. We're going to see that Alec gets further involved in the Institute and maybe perhaps in a leadership role. Unfortunately, the Clave is very. They're kind of sticklers for who's in charge of the Institute, and it seems that people sometimes come and go very quickly. We've seen quite a few people ahead of the Institute. My mother and also and my ex-fiance and Alder Tree, who was a delight. And maybe Alec can get into that role, but we'll see. Eventually, I think it will take some time though.
All right. And so is Alec going to feel some of this pressure to gain back the trust of the downworld? Is there going to be some political tension?
Yes. I think that, that's it's sort of an interesting thing because the Clave itself is obviously not a very upstanding organization. They have significant issues with control, and they have issues with how they handle people outside of their organization. And the downworld is not a bunch of, saints either. They're involved in a number of sort of illicit issues. The question is how much of that is caused by the Clave's authority, or how much of that is caused by just problems that are resulting from Valentine. So I think that Alec is going to try and work with both sides, if possible, and maybe get past the variety of issues that the Clave presents and that the downworld presents, and maybe we can all just learn to get along.
Is he going to be working with some of the leadership?
Yes, Alec will always be involved in working with leadership, and hopefully if he can, get some of the downward leadership to get involved and really work with the Shadowhunters. But we've seen that in the past has not gone so hot. Yeah.
So at the end of 2A, we had that final beautiful hug and the I love you scene. And does this mean we can expect the Malec relationship to get even stronger when we come back?
Yeah, I think Malec relationship's on a constant upward trend, I think, and I believe that's how it should be. And but that doesn't mean necessarily that everything's going to be perfect all the time, because you need to grow. To grow, you need these kind of little errors so you guys can adapt and learn how to work with each other. And I think that we're going to see some of that in the second half of the season. I don't actually fully know because I haven't seen the end, but I can see that we might have some fun moments there. But we also have some really nice, sweet moments, and it's great. It's actually really great. But Alec, Alec is mistake prone, but not by his own fault, because Alec is the best of everyone. It's just that sometimes things are difficult, man. The downworld, and there's people throwing fits, and they're upset, and people are loving on each other, and then other people aren't loving on each other, and then sometimes people are killing each other, and then there's also people popping up out of nowhere who just causing more problems. And it's like, when is it going to end? When is it going to end? We caught Valentine. When's it going to end? What is the end of all this? No, it's a nightmare. I swear. It's keeping in the basement. Valentine to stay in the basement.
And so one of our favorite non-romantic relationship arcs from the first half of the season was with Clary and Alec. And so are we going to see them to continue to build this trust and respect for one another throughout 2B? Yes,
I think that there is a sort of a mutual understanding because obviously Clary has a lot of shared relationships with Alec. Jace is obviously involved, and I think that over time they learn really to work well with each other without there being any kind of animosity toward each other, and that makes them actually very worthy allies, which is kind of nice. But again, like with Jace, Clary is sent out to go deal with issues with her father and with perhaps some other relatives in the future, and Alec can't really come along with those things, so they might not interact as much as we'd like.
Are Alec and Izzy going to be back as a demon fighting team?
Of course. I mean, we could pretend that they're not. That this whole fight, this Yin Fen thing, led to the end of their relationship. But come on, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. No, Izzy and Alec are a dynamic duo. We can't put a stop to them. They're partners. That's it.
So we know there's this new fancy Shadowhunter in town named Sebastian.
Yeah, he's fancy.
And so, what can you tease for us about Sebastian's role at the Institute?
Well, he's very helpful from the get-go, and he gets right on in there, and he's accepted by everyone. you don't, Shadowhunters don't really need to vet other Shadowhunters. They're Shadowhunters, right? So, that's all I'll say about that. We'll see. We'll see.
So we heard from the showrunners that Magnus is going to have a dancing scene in 2B. And does this mean that Alec might also be dancing?
No.
Okay.
The thing about dancing is all different kinds of dancing happens. And lots of things can be interpreted as dancing.
Sure.
And there's also things that can be interpreted as dirty dancing, like that movie. And there's also things that they're viewed as just sort of like platonic dancing. But either way, as long as nobody's getting hurt, dancing's just fine. Try to make sense of that one.
I'm just going to take that as a maybe, and we'll see. The first time we see Alec dance, I'm going to tweet you and be like, there it was.
Is this the dance?
Is this the dance?
Oh, there's always dancing.
Fans overwhelmingly wanted us to ask you about Madsy and if she's going to be making an appearance later this season. Because she did spare your life.
She spared my life because Alec was sweet to her. Because Alec, one thing about Alec, and I'm being very serious here, Alec is very caring for people that he views as that they need help. He likes to help those who have, maybe there's something wrong, maybe there's some issue he can't quite tell, but he wants to know and he wants to be able to make them comfortable. So he showed her his kindness and sweetness from when he first met her and onward, as he would. So she can't bring herself to harm him despite what Valentine was sort of, getting with her there. So I think it's likely that we will see more Madsy in the future, and I know the fans do seem to really to like her because she is so cute and also kind of lethal, in a kind of really scary way. And it's kind of sad actually because she was used in that awful way. And if you actually start to think about it, it's actually really unpleasant. So hopefully good things happen to her.
Is there a scene in 2B that you have filmed that you're most excited to see on camera?
Yes.
On screen?
Yes, there is. Alec gets a real great hero moment. Okay. Yes. But then, well, I can't, but it's not, he's like, yeah, look what I did, and maybe he's really proud of it, but maybe also things aren't quite as they seem for him. But the audience will know. You'll see. Is that helpful?
Yes.
Okay.